Hey everyone. I don't know why I'm still up. Okay. I need to have my behind in bed. But this video has been on my mind, so I say, you know what? I'm gonna do my best to try to get through this video. If I can get through it, I don't know. I done started it a couple times already, but I'm gonna try to get through it. If I can't get through it, then I'll try it another day. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the day I met a ghost. Yes, this is not clickbait, okay? So, just in case you're wondering, I am not the type of person who is easily spooked. I was in the military. I'm not afraid of anything. Um, I do get a little freaked out with certain movies. I still can't watch Saw and that movie with that man with those pens in the head. I can't watch that. Um, Me in the movie Phantasm, I am forever traumatized from that movie. And also some of the Jason movies. Yeah, Friday the 13th. Um, but pretty much, I'm not easily spooked. I mean, I can go watch, I could watch a horror movie and I can go right to bed. Okay, so I have no problem. But this particular time, I had a situation that really kind of shook me up. I was talking to somebody about it today, and he was asking me questions. And I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and do this video. So, yes, I did have an encounter with a ghost. Okay, I have a very curious mind. I have a journalistic background. I was a news reporter for 10 years. I covered cops, crimes. I went to murder scenes. I went to executions. But I was a little freaked out, but not enough to stop doing my job. I did the job for 10 years. So I'm just not easily spooked with things like that. I'm very intrigued. Although, I will have a normal reaction when I experience these things, but I won't like break out into a panic. So when I had this experience, I actually surprised myself. So let me backtrack. Okay, so I have worked for a Cuban restaurant called Mojitos Cuban American Bistro. I love the restaurant with all my heart. It's a restaurant where you dance and you sing and well, I dance and I sing at the restaurant, as well as the owners. The owners are musicians. They have a very long, extensive background in music, very talented in music. The restaurant specializes in salsa music, and sometimes I do perform at the restaurant. So backtracking, I came to work for them. Well, what happened was, I was working for a restaurant for about six months. It was a tea room. It was called Mideast Tea Room. Okay, in Norcross, Georgia. I don't know if you're familiar with Norcross, but it's a historic downtown district. Very beautiful area. Beautiful, gorgeous. Lit up real pretty. They have a lot of events there. I definitely recommend that you go or go check it out if you're ever in the Atlanta area. It's in the suburbs of Atlanta, so North Atlanta would be more like Gwinnett County. But anyway, so I worked at the restaurant. It was a tea room, and then the new owners came, and they decided to take over the restaurant. Right. So I thought that was my last day. So I had went and tried to find another job because when I heard, basically, I got a call saying, "Hey, come pick up your check." your last check. So I was like, okay, so I guess my job is over. And so I decided to go ahead and, find another job. But prior to me leaving, I did meet the owners who were very nice. They told me they sang and, and all this good stuff. And, I was just such in a rush to leave. I really didn't believe that they could sing. And I also didn't believe I would ever see them again when I left. But the owner said, if you don't like where you're going, feel free to come back. And I went to go work for Bahama Breeze. And I didn't like it. I stayed there for a couple months, didn't like it. I mean, I like the restaurant. I think I like it more being a customer than I did like working there. Um, so, but I love the Caribbean type feel. So Mojitos is similar. It has Cuban flair, like a Caribbean theme, Spanish theme, very, very laid back and relaxing feel. So I said, you know what? Let me give this a try. So I asked the owner, I said, you still got that job? So he was like, not right now, but I'll keep you in mind. So he did end up calling me, and I went to go work for him. And I've been working for him on and off for 10 years. Really, really love the restaurant. So if you have a chance to go, please go. It's called Mojitos Cuban American Bistro. There's one in Norcross, Georgia, and there's another location, the newest location in Peachtree Corner. So go check it out. So while I'm working there, because I'm a researcher, I'm a reporter, of course, I'm going to research the restaurant. Okay, that's what I do, that's who I am. So I found out that the restaurant has a history of being or having some sightings about a ghost, a little girl ghost. So, of course, I would be interested in that. I have kind of went on ghost tours and in Savannah. I think I went on one. Yeah, I went on one in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where I used to live. I also used to live in Savannah, Savannah, Georgia. And I'm intrigued by it. What I like about it, really like learning about the history and everything. Um, people would say, "Oh, that's an orb," but I mean, I didn't know if it was a flash or orb. Okay, so I really would go just kind of to amuse myself, half believing but not really knowing. Um, but I actually met a lady who was well respected in the community. Her name was Judge Kavanaugh. Her name is Judge. What's her first name? Judge Rita. Yeah, Judge Rita Kavanaugh. She's a judge. I'm not sure if she's retired now, but she was a judge in Griffin, Georgia. And she had an encounter with a ghost. Her family had an encounter with a ghost. And I was doing a story one time about, ghost stories for like Halloween and stuff. And the lady is very prominent. She's a chief magistrate. She was a chief magistrate judge at the time. Not sure if she's still there, but I really, really trusted her and I believed her. And, she was very convicted when she told me about this story. So, fast forward, many moons later, I was working at the restaurant, heard about this ghost. Okay, now what I heard about the ghost is that she was spotted by some of the contractors. She was very mischievous. She would move their stuff around. She told the people because they were Spanish contractors and they would play the Spanish music, she would tell them, "Look, can you please turn that down? I don't like that music," from what I heard. Also, a paranormal ghost hunter was taking pictures one day just in the area, and he saw this little girl and he was like, "What is this little girl doing, by herself? Like, what why isn't her parents with her?" And come to find out, he quickly realized this was not no little girl. This was a little girl ghost. Okay. Also, I heard reports that the ghost was seen to be, um, you know, when she wasn't sitting in the window, she was like dancing by herself. She would wear a red dress. Um, she was seen wearing a white dress, like from the like an earlier time, and that's what the ghost hunters saw her wearing when they spotted her in the window when they were taking pictures. And so this guy, he said, you know what? I'm gonna come up with this go. He created a ghost tour called the Norcross Ghost Tours. And every year he would take his group by Mojitos. And one day he encountered the owners and they started talking about the ghosts and stories they heard, and so got them all excited. They named the ghost La Nina. So we call the ghost La Nina, okay? Because it's a Spanish restaurant and La Nina means little girl. Okay, so I had worked for the restaurant. I went to work for the restaurant in 2009. This person, the ghost hunter, encountered this ghost in 2008. And then I think he formed this Norcross tour group, Norcross Ghost Tour group in 2009. And that's when he was doing the tours. And that's when I had came to work for Mojitos in January of 2009 officially. So I never had any experience with the ghosts. I know the electrical circuit would go out, things would happen in the restaurant. Like the whole electrical panel would go out, the whole air conditioning unit would go out. I mean, serious things would happen, but it is a historic building. And so, they are kind of trying to make the building suitable for today's times. They probably didn't need a large air conditioning unit. Well, I know they didn't need a large air conditioning unit, didn't need a big, complicated electrical panel and things of that sort. They play live music, so they need additional electrical, um, you know, requirements. Well, they have additional electrical requirements. And if you see me shivering, yeah, I'm shivering. I turned my heater off. I have my central heat on, but it's doing absolutely nothing. And I can barely feel the warmth. And even though I have a sweater and this shawl thing, I'm still kind of cold. I normally don't hang out in this room, but I'm just trying to get through this video. So things will happen, right? So also people would come by and they would ask about this little girl ghost. Like they would ask us about La Nina. And and people would tell them stories. The owners had some knowledge about her. Yanine, she's the female owner. It's a husband and wife that own the place. And Lewis is the husband owner, and Yanine is the wife owner. And so, she would tell me about the ghost, and people would come in and they would say, have you seen the ghost? And they would say, well, we feel her energy around the bathroom area. And I'd be like, for real? Like, because I spent many, many hours at this restaurant, day, night. People would be there, people wouldn't be there because I was a waitress and I would have to, open the restaurant. So a lot of times when I would open the restaurant, there would be nobody there except, well, there would always be somebody there, but I was at the restaurant, like I said, 8 months prior to the new owners taking ownership. And I would be in there by myself. It wouldn't be anybody in there but me. Lights would be off. And I never felt any presence there. I always felt comfortable in the restaurant. Um, very peaceful. Even when it was a TV room, I felt very peaceful there. But I never felt like, oh my goodness, there's a ghost in here. Let me get out of it. Because let me tell you, if I thought it was a ghost in that restaurant, I think I would have been a little more shaken up. Um, Even though I really enjoy working there, but that would have kind of startled me if I really believed it was a ghost there. Um, so then, they said they felt her presence in the front room by the bathroom. And then I was told that's why the electrical panel and stuff was going out, because she pulled down a lot of energy. And even the people in the kitchen, they had a cross because they were like, well, look, we don't want no trouble. We got this cross, okay, we don't want no trouble here. She would tell the people, like she told the people that she told the ghost hunters that she didn't like the smelly food they served there. And like I was saying, she told the other Spanish workers that they need to turn their music down because she didn't like the music that they played. Which is so funny because it's like this little girl ghost had an attitude. She had she had an attitude problem, okay? But she was funny. I mean, hearing the stories is really funny. And you can actually Google Norcross Ghost, Norcross, Ghost, and it's in Norcross, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and you'll see it's all these stories about it. The patch, the AJC, the ghost hunter. A lot of articles written on it. So, fast forward to my experience. One day, I was talking to the owner, and I think it must have been after one of those ghost tours came by, and I must have saw him or something. And I was talking to the owner, Yanine, and and I don't know how I got on this subject, but she was telling me she had a dream about the ghost, and I said, "You had a dream about the ghost?" And she said she felt her son, who's very, quiet, plays very, very well by himself. Well, at the time, because he was a baby, but I mean, he was an older baby. He was about 7, 6 or 7. Um, he would play very well by himself, and she said she felt like the ghost was keeping him company, making sure he was content. And so she said she had a dream about the ghost, and she said the ghost was black. I said, what? The ghost was black? I said, how'd you know the ghost was black? Now, in the dream, she said, I know you. You're that little girl ghost, that La Niña that hangs out at the restaurant." And that's when she told me the ghost was black. And I was like, no, the ghost is not black, okay? Because, see, it's a Cuban restaurant. And, um, and I've been working there for, at this time, for years, okay? And never had any encounter with this ghost. So then when she told me about this ghost and she said the girl was black, of course I had to investigate, okay? And they said, and I went to do more research, and they said that they researched this ghost. They found out the girl's name was Annalisa, and they even found out how the girl died. Now, in this article, she says, let me get to it. She tells the people, you know, how she died. Even though some ghosts, I guess, don't know how they died, but by her talking with the ghost hunters, she gave some clues that let them know how she died. So she said it was in the winter time, and I had been playing down in the creek. I came home all wet, and Daddy made me get a switch, and he whipped me with it, the spirit recounted. But I went back and got wet again. This time, Mama put me to bed, and I can hear her telling the doctor that I feel so hot. But me, I feel so cold. I don't know why everyone is putting ice around me on the bed, 'cause I keep telling them I'm cold, the spirit explained. Annalisa relayed through the medium that she is pictured in a photograph prominently displayed somewhere in town. Or in her words, I'm wearing a Sunday white dress with a ruffled collar, and lots of people look at me. So after hearing this, they went and looked, did research for this little girl. Like, if her picture is prominently displayed in Norcross, we should be able to find this little girl. Okay, so here's the picture of the little girl. Okay, so did you see this little girl? When I saw this little girl's, I believe she's a black little girl. Okay. Matter of fact, she looked like we could have been sisters. Okay. I when I see those dark legs down there, and she has thick legs, and she's in that, and she got those pigtails. I know black girls wear braids, you know. And then when she said her dad made her get a switch and whipped her, so that was definitely a very black thing, and that was a big clue. And it just, let me tell you, when I heard about this, well, I read her picture. I mean, I found her picture, and this is the night that Unique was telling me, her son, she dreamt about the ghost, told me the ghost was black, and I did the research, found the girl's picture. So after I had found this information about this ghost, um, I think, well, let me backtrack because I'm not going to spill the beans. Okay. So there was another, okay, around the time that, okay, I never had any experience with this ghost. I had worked there from 2009, and I want to say, I cannot remember exactly because I wasn't really planning on, keeping track. And remembering when I ran into a ghost is really not something that I would pinpoint. But I believe it was between 2013 and 2015, sometime around there. Could have been 2014, probably more like it. So I was working one day, and it was like the end of the night, and this was after the people had told me um, her energy is very heavy around the bathroom. So I went over by the bathroom to try to see if I could feel, if I could feel any energy over there, and I didn't feel anything. Okay, so later on, I just dismissed it because the people kind of, well, one of the ladies, um, she kind of weirded me out a little bit because her eyes were like so like, have you seen the ghost? Like, they knew about this ghost. Okay, so she kind of freaked me out because her eyes were like, have you seen the ghost? Like, she kind of felt the ghost. She said she felt the presence. over there by the bathroom. So that's when I went over there to try to see. I didn't see anything. I didn't feel anything. And I went on about my business. So later on that night, I was working. It was like, because the restaurant plays salsa music, the music is loud, right? So, which is to me important because, you know, a lot of people like to have the music to dance, and so that goes along with the theme of the restaurant. So, but it was loud enough that I shouldn't have had the experience that I'm about to tell you about. Okay. So I'm putting the table, just got finished cleaning off the table, and I'm putting the table, the chairs up against the table, kind of resetting the table. And coming from around the back of me, I hear this little girl say, "Excuse me." And I was like, looked around real quick, right? And I'm like, okay, I know it's not no little girls in here because it's like 10:30 at night. The band was playing, it's loud. I mean, we do have kids in there from time to time, but generally the kids are gone by 10:30, and way before 10:30. And so I wouldn't expect to see or hear a little girl, especially a voice like that, because it sounds kind of like really young. And it was like, "Excuse me." And it scared the out of me, okay? I was like, oh my God. So that was my first encounter with it. And then I, went on about my business. So then I think another time, yeah, so that time I was talking to the customers. They told me, "Hey, did you see her?" And then I said, "No." They said her presence was by the bathroom. And later on that night, that's when I heard the little girl say, "Excuse me." And that's when I turned around and I didn't see anybody. Okay, so then I kind of left it alone. Okay, but it scared the out of me. Okay, so later on the paranormal people must have stopped by. I can't remember, but they must have, for us to be talking about this ghost again. And that's when Yanine was telling me about her son, and she had the dream about the ghost, and that's when she told me the little girl was black. So later on I was at the McDonald's, right, researching this little girl because I was determined to find out about this little girl. After they told me she was black, it was such a revelation to me that I had been working it all these years. I never felt this girl's presence, and the ghost was black. Okay, that was like a big deal. Not saying it made a difference, but it was like I felt like I should have picked up on her energy, because you know, I'm black, okay? And so I didn't pick up on her energy. So I went to do research. Me being an investigative journalist and reporter that I'll always be, employed or not in that field, um, I found her picture, that I was telling you about. And when I saw her picture and I actually heard her voice, that's when, because they had a recording of her saying her name. She said her name is Annalisa. And this was a recording because they actually had staked out the restaurant. I guess the owners let them stay there. They staked out the restaurant overnight, and they got a recording of her voice saying Annalisa. And I am so sorry for yawning, but it is. Look what time it is. Can you see that? 5:17 in the morning. So yeah, I'm up late. Like I said, I got to get this story out. And so after I saw this picture, then I couldn't believe that um, this lady, I saw her picture, and immediately Oh, I tried to answer. But anyway, so yeah, so after I saw this little girl's picture, and I know I'm stalling because it tripped me out, seriously. So I immediately became sick, okay? Like that moment, like I don't know if you've ever had a cold, or I'm sure you've had a cold or the flu, but the flu is sudden. That's how you know the difference between the flu and the cold, because the flu is just sudden. You don't get any warning. So like I saw her picture 1 minute, the next minute I was sick. I was at the McDonald's. I was sick. I came immediately down with a head cold, and I just couldn't. I couldn't even. I couldn't talk for a whole week. I was sick as a dog. I don't know what it was that came over me after I saw this little girl's picture, and I found all the details that I never thought to look for, but they all came together at one time, and they hit me like a ton of bricks. And so that's why I said I have been working there since 2009. I mean, I would hear bits and pieces of this story because I did research it. I'm a researcher, but it was just like, But then all this information just fell at one time and just hit me like a ton of brick. And so that's when I knew I had met the ghost, because her power just came through, because she died because I guess she went swimming in a lake, and she contracted some type of virus. So I was getting sick from, just hearing about her. I don't know how, I don't know what that's about. I haven't done any research on it after that, but that just shook me up. I was sick for a whole week, no lie. Hand to God, hand to God. I would not make up something like this. It, you know, it freaked me out. It still freaks me out to this day. It's 2019 now. So this would have been what? So that would have been two. So yeah, that would have been like 5 years, um, 4 or 5 years. And yeah, so that's the story of what happened when I met a ghost and my experience. So, and then later, I really didn't tell anybody that this happened because it did freak me out. Um, and I'm starting to get cold all over again. After that, I really didn't have any more experiences with the ghost, but that was enough. I was sick. Like I said, if it didn't happen so suddenly, I'm literally scrolling through the photo, the article, zooming in, saw her picture, heard her voice from the recording, and like I said, you can look this up yourself. It's called the article is called "Seen Any Ghosts in Norcross?" We have, and so let me show you. This is the name of the article. Seen any ghosts in Norcross? We have. And that's when they start talking about, it's just, this is the recording. You can't hear it because I can't play it and that's her picture. And then I had another picture, you know. So, knowing what I know now, I'm never going to take it, you know, for granted anymore. I'm not gonna make fun of it. I just thank goodness that the ghost has been there the whole time that I've worked there. I mean, they I went to go work for this location, went to go work in this location in 2008. I came back. I left for, about a couple months, and then I came back in 2009. But I had worked there this whole time, and never did I imagine that, that the ghost was real and that she was black and that, She kind of looked like me. So it kind of freaked me out. Um, and then later on, like I said, I haven't really had any more real experiences that I could really pinpoint. But after that, it just it made me take it a little more seriously when, people start talking about ghost stories and hunters and and so I was waiting on this table one time, and another crazy situation, right? And what do we say? What do we say? Hold on, let me pull, because y'all not going to believe this. But anyway, or maybe you will, because I don't know if you even believe this story that I'm telling you. But so I'm waiting on this table, group of ladies, and we're having a good time. And I always try to have a good time with all my guests and everything. And we were just laughing, having a good time. And they said, "Girl, I want you to give us all stripper names." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna give y'all all stripper names." I call I called one Diamond. I called one Honey. I had all different names, right? For them. Came back. And it came back and gave them all the names. And then they was laughing. They was like, "Oh, I like my name. I like my name." And then they said, "Okay, you go back in the building," because their table was outside, right? In front of the restaurant. Um, and and let me show you where they were sitting. Let me see if I can show you. I'm pulling it up right now to show you where they were sitting. Not that it matters, but it matters to me, so I'm gonna show it to illustrate my point. And after this, I'm gonna take my behind the bed because you can see I'm tired. So is it gonna pull up? I could when you try to get something to pull up or look for something, that's when things go awry. But it's coming. It's coming. So I'm trying to be patient. Don't have any patience. So let me wait for that to load up before I share the rest of my story. Hopefully it loads up. I'm on Wi-Fi, and hair keeps getting in my mouth. This shawl thing. Well, it doesn't look like it's pulling up. What a shame. I need that picture. Anyway, it was, maybe it'll come up. Hopefully it will. But anyway, they were seated in the front of the restaurant. So there's like a couple tables outside in the front of the restaurant, right? Where you where people sit. And so if you're coming into the restaurant, right? You're coming from outside, walking into the restaurant. The table is gonna be on your right, okay? And and I love this table because this is the one you can really see the train that comes by a lot. So anyway, they were like, "Go back inside," because I was waiting on them outside. So they told me to go back inside, and they were gonna come up with a name, a stripper name for me. And I said, "Okay." So I went out, came, came came back. Let me find my article I had. Came back, and they said, "Well, we got a stripper name for you." And I was like, "For real?" And it was like, "Annalisa." I said, "What?" They said, "Yeah, Annalisa." I said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. Game over. I'm sorry. I can't take that name." This is the name of the ghost, Annalisa, right there. See, it says Annalisa relayed through the medium that she is pictured in a prominent photograph, a photograph prominently displayed somewhere in town, or in her words, I am wearing my Sunday white dress with a ruffled collar, and lots of people look at me. So the ghost name was Annalisa. So I came back. They told me my stripper name was Annalisa. I told them, no, ma'am. I cannot. And my eyes, like, I was like so startled and stunned. It just was unbelievable. So I said, and I really loved the ladies to death. I was having a good vibe with them and everything. And I said, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to accept this name. And they looked at me, but why? We like that name. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But it's the ghost name. Out of all the names, Annalisa is not even a common name. Out of all the names that they could come up with, they came up with that name. And this is way before how to get away with murder came out. Like what years before? Because this would have been in 2014 time frame. So how to get away with murder is a recent show. So I believe, yeah. So freaked me out. So that was my experience and what happened when I met a ghost. Like I said, it was not clickbait, because if it was, I mean, well, my encounter is my encounter, right? So you could believe it or choose to believe it or not, but it really did happen. And the story about this little girl, you can find. I did show you the articles. I showed you her picture, but yes, this is the hubbub that's been going down in Norcross. So if you have an opportunity to stop by and go on the Norcross Ghost Tours, or stop by Mojitos Cuban American Bistro in historic downtown Norcross in Gwinnett County, please do so. Hopefully, you will not run into the ghost, okay? Um, because, nobody really wants to run into a ghost. But it's very interesting that all of these people have had encounters with this little girl ghost at this restaurant. And all these years, I'd never had an experience. And then when I did, my voice, like I said, it was like, say for example, it was 212, 213. I got hit. I mean, hammered at this McDonald's with this. Um, my throat immediately got sore. I came down with strep throat, and I had a very bad head cold. Couldn't talk for a whole week. So I thank you for watching this edition of the Lee Williams Show. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Feel free to check out my channel. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at underscore AMARIGE 25. You can find all my information in the links on my page. Um, feel free to check back here and there and tell your family and friends about my channel. I am trying very desperately to revamp my channel. It's hard. I do work full time and I do work part time. I do work full time and part time. And I just, me and editing and some other things. And I will get into why I left YouTube full time, because I used to make videos a lot more frequently. And then I kind of just fell off for a couple years. So I am going to address that because that does need to be addressed um, in a later video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.